There's the music. And away we go as the 36 Hours of Cheer continues. It's 9:53. That's Danny. I'm John. It has been an exceptionally busy morning, my friend. It's something else, hasn't it?
It's been a great thing. Compared to overnight, we knew it was going to be quiet overnight, and it has certainly picked up. The pace has been wonderful, and we thank you so much. And we've also had a lot of folks come by to visit us, and I'm so excited for our next guest. I don't even want to call a guest, a friend.
A friend.
Right?
Yep.
Thank you.
We do this every year. This is the 5th year of the 36 Hours of Cheer, and this is an important discussion because, let's just get to it. I'm going to call you an icon because I truly believe that you are, especially for our community. Please welcome into the studio for 36 Hours of Cheer, former councillor Rebecca Johnson. Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. I thank you for the compliments. That's
Oh, we're just getting started.
Yeah,
Wait,
we're just
wait. Now listen, I am perusing Facebook this morning, and I happened to come across a beautiful photo of you this morning with yet another chunk of glass to put on a shelf. You have another award.
Yes. I received an ERA ERA award from Perro last night.
Wow.
That was very significant to be able to be recognized by that organization for some of the contributions I made to the community.
Some of the contributions.
You've made so many.
This is
so many.
You know, I consider you a dear friend, but I also consider you an exceptional inspiration, especially for women in our community and all that you have done for women in our community and continue to do. You've been away from council for how many years now? 6?
3.
3?
3, yeah. This is the first term.
Right, last term. That's right.
What are you doubling it up
No,
Yeah.
it feels like this term is forever, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm past, and then I figure the next election next fall, then I'll be past.
Right.
And maybe then people won't call me.
Well, maybe
people are still calling
Do you still
me.
get calls?
Yes, I do, Danny.
Oh, really?
From constituents. Yes, I do.
Wow.
Well,
yeah.
you realize, though, that Ken's not running. There is a mayor's chair available for
not
you.
happening.
Not happening.
Not happening.
Not even a
No.
little.
Hey,
No,
you've
wait.
heard it here first.
Not happening.
No, not happening. I wish the community would really work really hard right now to get some candidates. I'm out there trying.
Yes, you are, and that's one of the
I'm
important
working
things
at
you're
that.
doing is you're talking to people all the time about this.
I am. It's really important. We have good leadership, and we need an individual to come forward and say, I'm prepared to put the time in to be our mayor.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of people out there that are really.
We need it for sure.
So we got to work on it.
I do have one question, and I know it's not about city council, but
That's
if
okay.
you could just answer this for me.
Sure.
How connected are you still to seeing what happens with city council meetings, and are you still
Engaged.
Yeah, are you?
Yeah, yes, I am,
You
Danny.
are? That's good.
Yes,
I'm not surprised.
No, I meet with some counselors, not all by any means, but certainly some counselors. I provide them with my opinion on
that's
things.
fair.
That's absolutely
Sometimes
fair.
I agree, and sometimes I'm saying, "What are they doing?"
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Yeah, yes, I'm still involved. I can't. I don't want to be there to make the decisions. I don't want to read all the material. I'm not remotely.
But you have
interested
history
in that.
and experience to bring.
That's what I think. I keep saying is I've been there, done that. Maybe better look at something again. And you know, not necessarily do I have the right answer and the right opinion, but I have an opinion. So I figure I'm
Why
giving
not?
them my opinion based on history, basically.
Danny, I'll tell you that my my watching of city council most weeks gets a little better when my laptop dings and it's an email. It's an email from Rebecca Johnson.
Nice.
And so that
Nice.
I can say, wait a second, am I crazy here? Are you saying this? So you are still very much engaged because it is a genuine love for the community that
That's
you
right.
have.
Yeah, I do. I really, this community means a lot to me, John. There's no question about that. And so within that, just because you're not sitting around the table, and I made the right decision for me at the time that I said I was finished. But at the same point, I feel very strongly that I'm still can contribute and I can give my opinion, whether people take it or not.
Still a
that's
citizen,
fine.
yeah.
I'm a citizen and I'm interested.
Right.
I want to know where our community is going. And I think we've got some challenges and we'll work on those and we'll probably find solutions. But
There has been significant positive announcements in the last year or so of some nice growth, and so
Right.
we are going the right direction on some things.
I think we're going on the right direction on some things.
Yes, some things is right.
That's a good way of putting it.
One of the reasons we bring you here is to talk about your longstanding history in our community, and not only as a community leader and an icon, and I mean that in all sincerity, but we bring you to this event because the Thunder Bay Christmas Cheer Fund means something to you. And every time I hear this story, it gives me chills because it is a testament to what doing good does for individuals, for actual people. When people actually get a hamper at Christmas time, when a child gets a gift under the tree, it makes a difference in their lives. You have history with this organization.
Right, I do, John, and it goes back actually about 55 years. I was looking at that this morning and thinking,
55
how
years.
long? When did we actually have? When did I get a Christmas cheer basket? And so I thought to myself, okay, my oldest son, whatever, is his age, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is 50 plus years.
You
yeah.
were a recipient.
I was a recipient,
because
yes.
you went through an extremely difficult time.
Yeah, my husband passed away when my children were very, very young. They were 5 and 4 and 2. They were really, really small. Anyway, from that, I went on mother's allowance because I didn't have enough of income. I couldn't really go out to work. Our farm that we were on didn't really bring in enough of an income to be able to manage, and so I went on mother's allowance. That's what was available at that particular time, 55 so years ago. I was on mother's allowance for about, I would say 6-7 years. I can't remember exactly. But anyway, the government helped me, and then I said, and each year it was automatic. You got and received a Christmas cheer basket. So there would be toys in there, and they would know because they knew how many children you had. They knew what you were doing and all the rest of it. So you'd get a little bit of food, and then you would get a gift for each of the children. And it was interesting because last night when we were driving home, I said to my daughter, I'm doing this thing on, 99 tomorrow about the Christmas cheer thing. And I said, can you remember, Rochelle, can you remember it? She said, I remember one thing, Mom. And I said, well, what was that? And she said, I remember getting up one year and there was a black toy poodle, stuffed poodle on her bed, and it had a big red collar on it. And she said, it just was there. And she said, I asked you, where did it come from? And you said to me at the time, she said, it's just appeared for you. And I guess I can't remember all the detail. I don't want to tell you two gentlemen that I can remember everything I said and did
I understand.
50-odd years ago. But that to her is what she remembers of having this stuffed dog and on her bed. And so I thought to myself, you know what? That's significant. She would only have been maybe, I don't know, say 5, 6, 7 years old. Who knows?
But the impact
the impact for that little girl was significant at that time. And I would not have been able, I didn't have the money to be able to go out and buy her a stuffed poodle dog. There was no way.
Right.
I didn't have that kind of money at all.
This is imagine now, here we are 55 years later, and the same thing is happening with children in our own community.
That's right.
Families that we know. We talked about this yesterday. There are families that are receiving Christmas cheer hampers that have parents that are working that still can't make ends meet.
No.
But that one toy under the tree
makes a difference.
It changes lives.
That's right.
It just gives families hope. And so here you are 55 years later. How many years do you think you got a Christmas cheer hamper?
I received a Christmas cheer hamper. I think it's about 7-8 years that I received it for. And then I decided that we can't stay here. We can't stay in this. I mean, I'm not going to continue to have mother's allowance forever. And what am I going to do with my life?
But your children were young, Rebecca.
Yeah, they were. Yeah. Well, I had. They were really small. They were really small.
Go ahead, Danny.
Well, I just want to know, how did it change for you? How did you make that change?
Well, I just you kind of wake up one morning and say, where are we going? Like, what are you going to do? Are you going to, you have choices. You either you either go down or you go up. You can't stay on the teeter-totter, so to speak, doesn't balance for very long. It goes one way or the other. So I made a decision then that I was going up. So I went and I got some jobs. I was able to get my children looked after and all the rest of it. And so it was slow. But you make a decision and say, I want better. I want better for me. And then I got involved in all kinds of things.
Yeah, you certainly
Everything.
did.
Everything.
But you got there.
I got there. And it was literally one day at a time. And my family were very supportive. I look at not only to my children, but my siblings and my parents who were still alive at the time. And they helped me. There's no question about that. I was very fortunate that I had that help.
But it didn't happen overnight.
No, nothing happens overnight. Not when you don't have any money. You don't have any real support system, and you're by yourself.
Right.
I mean, no matter whether you've got family or whatever, you're still by yourself. So how do you do it? And what do? You've got 3 children, and it's like, oh my, I have to support them.
That's right.
I am the support for them. So what do we do about that?
What goes through your mind when you hear stories like last year,
Yeah.
the Thunder Bay Christmas Cheer Fund helped over 8,100 individuals, including 4,200 children. Where do you say you're at compared to where you were years ago?
Yeah, well, I'm concerned because it's way more.
Yeah,
That's
it
the
is.
first
Yeah.
thing.
It is.
The numbers continue to increase. That is very concerning for me as a community resident, that thinking that our community has people that this is dire straits here. This is not fun. This is not a good place to be in. And if our community is like this, what is happening? And I think we're not unique, by the way.
Yeah,
so we
it's
know
not a
that.
Thunder Bay problem,
No,
that's for sure.
no, but at the same point in time, we have to look after this is our situation. So how do we do it? And I think it's concerning, very, very concerning. Yeah.
When you were receiving these hampers, you're a new widow with young children. You are with a farm. The farm part always gets me because it's not like you're running a small little house. You had a little farm.
Yep.
What did it feel like for you to receive these things in terms of what others were thinking of you at that time?
Yeah, that's a good question, John, to be honest with you, because it was, I don't like to take things. I'm that's not who I am.
Right.
I give, but I don't take, kind of a thing. But at the same point in time, I knew I needed to be on mother's allowance because I really needed that money to be able to exist. At the same time, when I got the Christmas cheer, it made me feel really good in the fact that other people cared about what I was doing. They didn't know me. Nobody knew that I was getting a basket, not necessarily in the community. The people that organized it knew, and it's all confidential, so it should be. But at the same point in time, it makes you feel really positive that there's people out there that are saying, you know what, I have a little bit, and so I can give a little bit. And I'm listening, the last 2 days, or yesterday and today, to the two of you, and people are coming in here and giving, good sums of money. Others are giving $5 and $10. You don't have to. I've got a little check here for you because this year I decided I would bring this.
Thank you.
And it's not a lot, but at the same point in time, it's something.
That's right.
And so I was just listening to one of your staff saying that they were out and a car drove up with children in it, and each child gave a $5 bill.
Perfect.
We're not talking about necessarily lots of money, but you know what? Those little bits of 5s and 10s and 20s.
We say it adds up.
It adds up, and that's really important. It makes you feel good that you can help whomever it is that you're helping, and you don't know who they are. You don't have a clue, and it doesn't matter.
That's always one of the most powerful
No.
messages. I told this story yesterday that we had young children in years ago when we first started this, and I asked one of the young kids, probably 6 or 7 years old, why do you think it's important to do this? And she said on the air that day that there's probably kids in my class that are getting this help too.
Could be.
For a small child to say that, it was powerful. Did you ever feel embarrassed or shame in your circle of friends or in your community for receiving this help?
No.
Did you feel you needed to hide it?
No. No. In fact, I told people because I thought it was important. Because how do you express your thanks? I mean, I could I'm good at sending thank you notes out to people. I do that even today. But at the same point, back then, I would say thank you to the Christmas Cheer Fund and etc. But I had no idea where the money came from.
That's right.
I don't know. I don't know who donated to
Right,
that.
right.
And so it was a case of anywhere that you could say, we received a basket. And I was pleased to receive that. And right now I need that kind of thing.
Right.
I'm not.
So you were not too proud
No,
for it.
not at all.
And I think
No,
that's important
no.
for people to come forward to know that
Right.
too,
Yeah.
that if you are in dire straits, you still at this time can sign up. And if you're in that position, that you can still sign up to receive this help for the holidays. It makes a big difference. Let's fast forward now in the day in the life. There needs to be a documentary about your life, I think.
My kids keep telling me I should write a book.
It'd be one heck of a book. There you are, 6, 7, 8 years of receiving a hamper and getting the help that you need to get back on your feet. We're talking about the 70s here. Mm-hmm. You're a woman. Mm-hmm. Different time for women then.
Totally.
But a strong woman that stood up for herself and made a name for herself by landing a fairly significant career or 2 or 10 since then. Education became something that was important to you. When you think back, talk about that time between hampers to now being somebody in the community that's making a difference. That was a big change. That would have been a hard road for you back then.
Well, you have to determine, as I said earlier, Dan, to a question that you had asked, is that you have to determine what you want in your life. I mean, you can sit there and get, I guess, mother's allowance forever, but that's not what I don't believe that people want. They're not. Generally speaking, people want to get off of that kind of thing.
Absolutely, they do.
So how do you do it, and what do you do? And so you go, you seek out, and you work on how you can get out of that situation, and it takes time. But
What did you
have
do?
to be determined.
But what was it that you did that you thought, I'm now going right down the right path? Where was that change?
Well, I think one of the things was I belonged to the Women's Institute at the time, and I still do. But the point being is that I decided to run for the provincial organization. Why wouldn't I not? Why wouldn't I? I didn't. I wasn't successful, and in retrospect, it was probably a good thing.
The timing.
Because it wasn't the right time for me. Because if I had have won that election, my life would have been very different.
Different.
I would have went down.
How so?
Different.
Yeah.
I would have gone a different path because and that's fine.
Yeah.
But at the time. And I asked the women why they didn't vote for me. I was a good candidate. I make no bones about it. Anyway, they said, well, you need to stay home and look after your children. And I said, you got to be kidding me. No, really?
Wow.
Whoa.
Wow.
So I did. I came home and I said, well, that's not going to work. So what do we have to do? Because women are telling me I need to stay home with my children. And I thought, I'll never do that completely. I never did. Bless my poor children. They managed throughout their lives.
They turned out okay.
Yeah,
You're fine.
they turned out really well.
That's right.
And so I think that is where I started to say, like, what else do I do? So I got a couple part-time jobs. I still had to look after my children. They're still young. And I was able to really work at little bits and pieces of jobs. And finally, I got to the position with the Chamber of Commerce, and I ran for the school board. I got on the school board. And it was funny because when Lynn McLeod talked to me, she said, you're going to get some money for, being on the school board. I said, you're really? Oh, my gosh. And I'll never forget that phone call from her. And she said, yes, because they paid an honorarium or a remuneration to trustees. So that was good. That was significant.
But you're
to me.
now sitting at a table with leaders in education to actually shape curriculum and to make changes as a woman who should have stayed home with her children.
That's right.
And now look at and so at that time that would have been your first jump into politics right?
Yeah, that's right. It was.
Did the politics bug bite you because you could see that it actually could make a difference?
No, to be honest with you, John, I ran for the school board because I had done everything that you could possibly do in Slate River. There's
the line right there.
That's it. So,
I ran out of things in Slate River.
That's
All
right. And then somebody came to me and said, why don't you run for the school board? And I said, Well, sure, why not? And seriously, I really didn't know what I was doing
Right.
at that time and getting in. Then the politics, you get caught up in it as an individual. You do. It becomes a well, you can make change, and I'm a change agent. So over the years, change is very important to me. You cannot stay static. You can't.
That's right.
So how do you improve? And there was no question, and it still is today, challenges in the education field. But the point being that was my first start. Then I went to the Chamber of Commerce, and that was a whole different world.
For sure it was.
Totally different world. Stayed there for 10 years or so.
Yeah.
Then I decided to run, and when I went away for a couple of years and came back, and then somebody asked me, "Are you going to run for city council?" I said, "Oh my gosh, I don't know."
And here we go.
So,
and what's
yeah.
that? The rest is
Yeah,
history.
and,
rest
then,
is
and then you
history,
go
for
from
sure.
there. So yeah,
I like what you said about how it's not a quick turnaround to change
No, it
things
isn't.
around.
No.
So if there's someone listening right now that is going to be collecting a hamper, a family in about a week and a half, and you're looking at changing your life around or whatever it is, and whatever situation you're in, to change it might not be tomorrow. It could
No.
be a year from now. It could be 2 years from now. But you can make that change.
well, I think the first thing is you have to determine that you want to change.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So once
Right.
you do that and say in your mind, I want better for whatever it is that I am in or I'm doing and all
Yeah.
the rest of it, that's your start of your change.
Mm-hmm.
And then you start searching out how you can make that change. And what you do today isn't necessarily what you're going to do 2 years from now.
Right.
It doesn't stay the
Yeah.
same way, no. But you have to determine, I want better for me and I want better for my family, and how am I going to go about doing that?
That's I think that's the message for those that are listening right now that are maybe recipients of this help. Because I completely agree with you. I think deep down, everybody who's getting this doesn't want to be in this position. It is not a free ride.
No.
You're doing it because you're really in need. But I think that's the message, is that through all of that, if you can think about what you can do to change, especially for your family, and you want to do it, you are living proof that if you work through it, regardless of how long it takes, there's something for you on the other side.
There definitely is, John. It's not necessarily politics. I mean,
Right.
we're talking
No.
about that for me. But it can just be some little thing. And then you say, okay, so, all right, if you're on some form of assistance, and many people are, and kudos, because at least that assistance is there for them. Then you start saying, okay, I'm going to work 1 day a week. I can do this. How do I go about doing these things? Because you probably still have children that you're,
Right.
and women in particular. Okay,
Right.
I make no
Right.
bones about that. But some men are looking after their own, looking after their children,
Yep.
and they can be in the same situation. So you just do it a bit at a time. Maybe you're lucky and you get something that goes well, but most people, that's not how it works. It's bits, and you keep working at it and say, my goal is I want to be independent, and I want to be able to, because you're the role model for your children. And is that what you want
Right.
for your children?
Right.
That you're going to get a check every month from whomever, or what are you showing them?
Right.
That's
Show
not
the
what you
with
want.
the effort.
Yeah.
It reminds me of another time when we would. It's 14 years actually today. We started this, by the way. The first one, which was 34 hours, weird number. But it was that year on a Saturday afternoon that a young woman came in with glassy eyes and said, I have this envelope. I just went to the bank machine. And I was kind of confused, like, where is this coming from? And I said, you want to make a donation? She said, well, my husband just passed away, and we just got the insurance, and I've been receiving hampers for 5 years, and I don't have to receive them anymore. And so I want to pay for some hampers for somebody
Yeah.
else. And I said, I was taken aback by that. And I said, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. What are you going to do? And she said, I just enrolled in school.
Yep.
I'm
Yeah, there
going
you
back.
go.
I'm going back to school.
Yep.
And for years, we received a donation from her and her family and from her children. And, what you're saying is exactly it. If you can get yourself to that point, you too can be in a position to give back
Yes.
to the very organization that took care of you.
Yeah, I think I've been very fortunate, whether it was mother's allowance or other help from people over the years, and you say thank you very much, and then you do. You got to give it back, because you can't just be on the receiving end. What is that? No,
Right.
that's not where life is. And so you got to be out and saying, here, and it can be small amounts. Like, this is a $50 check I'm giving you. That's not a lot of money.
It makes
but
a
that's
difference.
a lot.
It makes a difference.
And so it can be the $5 that these young boys were giving
Yeah.
in the car. And so that, to me, is what's really important, that they're giving back, and it makes you feel good.
Yeah.
It's okay, so I got all this help, and now I can say thank you very much, and here I'm going to help you.
The feeling is very.
Yeah.
The
It's really
feeling.
good.
I'm
It's a
glad
good
you
feeling.
said that, because Corey from Impala was just here. Danny
Yeah.
saw it too, and
Yeah.
he had never been before. And we did that hour of fundraising, and then we told him the total, and it busted him up
Yeah.
because he all of a sudden got bit by the same bug that we have
Yeah.
years ago, Danny,
Yeah.
by doing this. It feels good to give, doesn't it?
He mentioned that when we were in the other room, and he had never experienced that before.
Yeah, it's a
and
great
he said,
feeling.
I can't, something along quote, I can't believe how generous people are.
Yeah.
And I thought, isn't that nice?
It's also a Thunder Bay thing too, isn't it? Mm-hmm. It is what we're about.
Wow.
And that's really important, to be able to stand here and say, representing Thunder Bay in whatever context it is. Doesn't have to be me; it can be anybody. That people are saying, here's my little contribution. Some is larger and some are smaller, but here's my contribution to making it better for somebody and some family in this community.
Makes a difference.
Yeah.
I think you just said it best there.
That is
Amazing,
beautifully said. So
There you
now what? You're supposed to be retired.
Yeah, well,
You haven't been retired.
No.
You're not. You got to slow down a little bit. You still go to camp in the summer.
yes, I do that.
Now
yes.
it's winter. What are you going to do to keep busy all winter now?
Well,
Do I got to be checking on you, making sure you're relaxing?
I'm working on it. I am working on it.
Rebecca, I remember our conversation last year about a favorite TV show that you watch, and I'm going to try and
What the
remember
heck
because
is it?
so hang on. There's a priest. It's a priest.
Oh, Father Brown.
Father
Oh my, yeah.
Rebecca, I see
Okay.
Father Brown on my guide, on my
Yeah, and you
display,
think
and
of her?
all I think about is you when I see
Oh
it.
my
You
gosh,
know what
yeah.
that does, eh,
But I've
Rebecca?
never watched an episode.
No, that
though.
completely makes her a grandma,
oh,
because
there we are.
only grandmas watch that
Oh,
show.
I love that.
Father
Thanks,
Brown.
Dad. That's fun. That's what it is. Yeah, British comedy.
Yes.
Well, mind you,
Yeah.
that's not comedy.
But that's not comedy.
but
no,
still-
it's mystery.
That defines being a grandma watching that show now. I will forever remember that.
It's a good show.
You have
Yeah.
had a great impact, especially on women in politics and women in our community, and you still enjoy doing the work.
Yep.
What needs to be done still?
We have to get candidates. That's the thing that I'm working
You're
on
really
right now.
pushing that to find female candidates for council for office.
I would like good candidates. I'd like female. I mean, make no bones about it. We're underrepresented at the table. But at the same point in time, if we get good candidates, male, female, I don't care. We need diversity as well.
What are
We
you
can't
looking
just say-
for?
I want somebody that's prepared to sit down and actually look at decision making that needs to be done in this community. What's their long-term vision for this community? It's not what's happening just today. It's what do we want to see in 10 or 15 years? Because it doesn't all happen in a 4-year term.
You know, you were
No.
synonymous with that as a watcher of council. A lot of the points that you made had to do with tomorrow, not today.
That's what you gotta do.
You were making decisions about you, and you were a stickler at budget time. Oh, you were my favorite.
what I remember.
I still,
Yeah.
there's days that I watch thinking if Rebecca was still in that room, Danny, I still remember. I'm going to go down this road. I
Yeah.
remember the days of Rebecca in council, who used to get very angry that councillors were fed before the meetings. And she would stay at her desk
I didn't.
with a little bag of carrots so that just because she would not go and eat the meal
No,
in there.
I never. I'm serious. I never.
I know
ever
you
ate.
didn't. I
Never.
still think
No.
of that every time. I'm happy to report that it's no longer catered. It's very simple stuff now.
Okay.
It's not fancy.
I don't. I really truly you talk about money.
Yeah.
Is and that was my protest. I make no bones about it. But I really truly believe that people that are receiving an honorarium, and they're well paid, and so are administration. You can bring a brown bag. I'm sorry. There's too many people on the street that don't have
Amen.
food.
That's fair.
I don't care if it's $5 that they're paying or that it's 20. I don't care. It's the principle of the thing. And I'm
Amen.
sorry, you can tell
No,
like you're
no.
so
Well,
get
for example,
irritated.
John, you're the boss. If
Yeah.
John calls a staff meeting at 6 o'clock, it's urgent, and it's in between my supper, I'll bring some food with me.
Well,
That's right.
But I just want to point out that every city council roundup starts with what they had for dinner the night before, and that's because of you. So just so
is
you
it?
know,
Okay,
I
I
am
remember
thinking of
that.
you every
No.
time because I ask.
Yeah.
Because I remember that, and I remember how
No.
passionate you were about that because it's the principle.
It's the principle. It's the same as committee meetings. Good heavens! If you come to a meeting, why can't you just bring an apple or a sandwich? Really? I just
I love
no. I'm sorry. I really have a problem with that.
You sure you don't want to run again, eh?
No.
Maybe you want to do a city council podcast with me because you'd probably have a lot to say.
Oh, well, I could do that. Maybe.
We're
go.
gonna-
On to
no,
something, maybe.
it's time for others to take on the challenge
Yeah.
and come up with the ideas. And although I do share ideas
Yes, you
once in
do.
a while,
You do.
But at the same point in time, it's time for another generation to look at.
Wow, I
whatever.
could listen to you all
Yeah,
day.
all day.
You're such a pleasure to talk to,
Thank
and
you.
just words of comfort, words of wisdom,
Yep.
and just
But
amazing, Rebecca.
You really are an inspiration, my friend, and
Thank you. I appreciate
I
that.
love having you in here because of not only those stories, but where you speak from not only experience but from the heart and about helping people. That has always been what you've been about, and making a difference, whether it was on council or even where you are today. It is all about making sure that somebody has the help that you received those years ago.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. It's great, and we have a great community. You know,
We really do.
Thunder Bay is pretty special.
It is about the heart, isn't
Yeah,
it? And
it
we
is.
feel it every year. So now you can go and you probably have what, a meeting, a
Probably got 3 or
committee
4
meeting.
meetings today.
I do actually.
Yeah.
I
gotta
do.
slow down.
But I'm going to get, well, someday I will. Someday I won't be able to go anywhere. But anyway, no, well, I can. I'm not quitting. You
No.
can't quit.
No, you
No,
can't.
there's too many things to do.
We will sign you up for
Thank
next
you.
year to come and
Look
visit
forward
us
to-
again.
I'm
Former
happy
Councilor
to do that. Thank you.
Rebecca Johnson, thank you so much. As the 36 Hours of Cheer continues, Danny, that's what it's all about. That's the
Absolutely.
inspiration right there.
What a great chat.
There is
Yeah.
an awful lot going on still today. So
Yeah.
with that, we take a little break.